I'm dreaming of a white Christmas, just like the ones I used to know, where the treetops glisten and children listen to hear sleigh bells in the snow.
I dedicate this story to the starving children of Africa, and I suppose the portly, well-fed ones of Canada as well. So quit texting young Meredith and Monica. Gather round. Put down the dreidel, young Abishalom and Machiel. Finish your grape drink, DeAndre and Quanisha. And the goat milking can wait, Ahmed and Fatima. Please, come and listen one and all to this classic Christmas tale that I just made up this weekend, called The Littlest Jingle Bell. The Littlest Jingle Bell by C. Robert Johnson. In a small snowy village sat a miniature shop with a warm hearth inside, fluffy snowdrift atop. This shop had more magic than the great Archimedes, and the shopkeeper had crippling type 2 diabetes. This old Christmas curmudgeon was a grumpy old fellow. A severe case of jaundice had rendered him yellow. Some called him a Grinch, a real bah humbug, side effects from hyperlipidemia drugs. But his shop was chock full of fine Christmas bells, and of course you may ask, is that all that he sells? Yes, he had but one passion, one hobby, one joy, to sell jingle bells, not candy, not toys. And each of these bells hoped that they'd find a home, for none of them wished to spend Christmas alone. They practiced all year to be a bell that would sell, for not to be picked would be pure jingle hell. This Christmas shop opened for only 1 week, and townsfolk would flock to get a magical peek, for on all the displays and upon all the shelves were giant, large, medium, and small jingle bells. The large ones were loud, like great church bells they rang. The medium-sized ones, they jangled and sang. There were small jingle bells too, all polished and shiny. There were even a few that could pass as quite tiny. But on one of the shelves, tucked away from the crowd, barely seen behind other bells much more endowed, sat the littlest, minuscule bell of them all, a single, diminutive, sad jingle ball. The same thing would happen each Christmas, each year. Each time that a holiday shopper came near, all the bells would scooch gaily to the edge of the shelf. The small bell would jingle too, in spite of himself. All the big bells would laugh as this wee bell would sing. What a slight and pathetic and sad jingling! But so small was its clink when a shopper was nigh, they would pluck up a bigger bell and walk on by. All he wanted was a warm winter home. He hated spending Christmas Day all alone. He imagined himself on a wreath or tree, perhaps on a gay Yuletide sweater he'd be. He hoped a kind customer would hear his song, but they laughed at his ding and his miniature dong. Well, 'twas Christmas Eve night, and all that remained was this young tiny bell feeling so very drained. He had jingled, he had jangled, he had clinked, he had shook. Now the littlest jingle bell lie there forsook. The shopkeeper looked at him and gave a great sigh. It looked like the littlest bell just might cry. But business is business, thought the pudgy shopkeeper. Perhaps I should have made the tiny bell cheaper. So the sickly man waddled around to lock up. He closed the register and swept up the rug. Then one last cold look before he headed home. This piteous bell would pass Christmas alone. And then suddenly out in front of the shop came a swoosh and a whoosh. Then he heard a sleigh stop. The crunch of the snow, then a pause just before a man in a red suit burst right through the door. "Santa Claus!" cried the lazy-eyed obese shopkeeper. "What are you doing here? I thought you were a creeper." "Ho, ho, ho," said the jolly old man with the beard. "I have a small problem. I was told to come here. You see," he went on seriously but still grinning, "one of my sleigh's jingle bells has gone missing." Thought the bell, is it him? Could this really be true? I have one more chance. I know just what to do. But alas, said the shopkeeper, I wish you'd been told. Each and every last one of my bells has been sold. Any bell would be yours if I had one to spare, but as you can see, all the bell shelves are bare.
"Is that so?" Santa said as he began to think, and in that exact moment he heard a small clink. "What was that?" asked the jolly old man in the suit. "Methinks I heard a bell, and a small one to boot." Yes, the teeniest, tiniest, merriest chime was coming from atop the shelf just in time. "But Santa," backpedaled the portly shop owner, "this bell is too small, a diminutive loner." "We'll see about that," said Saint Nick gleefully. "I'll be the judge, let me go and see." So Santa walked over to the little bell's shelf. The puny bell reluctantly showed himself. Then jingling his mightiest, merriest jingle, the small bell leapt nimbly upon Santa's finger. Saint Nick looked down through his small glasses to speak to this minuscule bell, so small, so unique. "You'll find it's too small," cried the shopkeeper's voice. But Santa replied, "Well, let me make that choice." The bell gave one last minute jingle, then stood. He had given his all, given all that he could. And when the bell's hope had but all disappeared, a pause, then a smile stretched Santa's white beard. The bell stood so proud, the bell stood so tall. "Yes," whispered Santa, "it is way too small."
That's the end. It was way too small.
Dreaming of a white Christmas.